The New York Times actually published a piece this week called "Most Democrats Don't Want Joe Biden in 2024, According to a New Poll." And this is what the New York Times, of all places, the New York Times writes: 64% of Democrat voters say they would prefer a new standard bearer in 2024, in the 2024 presidential campaign, according to a New York Times Siena College poll, as voters nationwide have soured on his leadership, giving him a meager 33% job approval rating. Widespread concerns about the economy, this is from the New York Times, and inflation have helped turn the national mood decidedly dark, both on Mr. Biden and the trajectory of the nation. As if those are like two different things, New York Times. Okay. More than 3/4 of registered voters see the United States moving in the wrong direction, a pervasive sense of pessimism that spans every corner of the country, every age range and racial group, cities, suburbs, and rural areas, as well as both political parties. But get this. More than 2/3 of independents also now disapprove of the president's performance, and nearly half strongly disapprove. That, my friends, is the critical piece of information there. Among fellow Democrats, his approval rating stands at 70%. Now, that might seem, let me just interrupt the New York Times for a second. That might seem like a majority, well, 7 out of 10 Democrats like him, but it's actually, compare that to President Trump when he was president, over 90% of Republicans approved of President Trump. I think it was like 93, 94%. So 70%, just 7 out of 10 people in your own party when you're the incumbent president, is extremely low, very, very low. 94% of Democrats under the age of 30 said they would prefer a different presidential nominee. Holy cow. Holy cow. Now, why? Why do Democrats not like Joe Biden? This is why. According to the New York Times, you can see this on the screen, 33% of Democrat voters say that Joe Biden is too old. They cite his age as the primary reason that they want him not to run for president again in 2024. 32% say it's because of his job performance. 12% just prefer someone new. 10% say he's not progressive enough. 4% cite his ability to win the general election. 3% cite his mental acuity. His views on domestic issues are actually extremely small. 1% of people cited that. This is quite something. So people care about how old he is. That means everything that we see, everything that we laugh about, whether it's Joe Biden repeating the line on the teleprompter last week during his Roe v. Wade speech where he said, end of quote, repeat the line. People understand that he's mentally unfit for office, that he's a doddering, walking vegetable who's being controlled by radical leftists behind the scene, people like Jill Biden who call Latinos tacos. When people were asked issues, so that was an open-ended question, by the way. When people were asked, Democrats were asked, why do you want a different candidate or a different nominee in 2024? That's what they said. When they were asked about issues specifically, this is what the New York Times writes. Jobs and the economy were the most important problem facing the country, according to 20% of voters, with inflation and the cost of living, 15%, close behind as prices are rising at the fastest rate in a generation. 1 in 10 voters named the state of American democracy and political division as the most pressing issue, about the same share who named gun policies after several high-profile mass shootings. Isn't that interesting? Only 1 out of 10 Democrat voters care about the state of American democracy. And this, by the way, the state of American democracy is something we should care about, but not the way the New York Times means it. That phrase from the New York Times is just a euphemism for January 6th and the January 6th committee. And so only 1 out of 10. That means that 90% of Democrats don't care about this witch hunt that the Democrats are staging in the House right now. These hearings, these January 6th committee hearings, voters do not care. That, to me, that's absolutely fascinating.